Hello and welcome. We are
the Sisters of the Holy Fiber. This is episode 7. My name is Devin, also known as Rambunctious Sky.
And I'm Heather, also known as Tiny Kiwi. I completely blanked out on what we say next.
And then you say something about, grab your needles and your paper craft and your whatever else you're working on and craft along with us as we chat. That's what you say. But I said it this time.
That's what happens when I don't have my note. I don't know where my note is.
That's okay. I think it's fine. What are you working on this week for our projects of the moment?
Projects of the moment. Making progress.
Ooh, you're making progress. It's so much longer.
Yeah. I'm kind of worried about it though. Because I stayed in a hotel that was a smoking hotel.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I got through one row and I was like, this is really bad. I don't want to have my project start smelling like smoke. So I put it away and I didn't get knitting done on it like I had hoped to.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it is a little bit tar smelling. Just a weensy bit. So I'm definitely going to have to soak it when I'm done.
Soak?
Yeah, which I still haven't gotten. I've been so lazy. Anyway. My other work in progress I made more progress on. Let's see. He's kind of curly, but here's his eyeballs.
Oh!
They're 3D. He's
That's
looking
so
at you.
Cool.
And I got one of his front tentacles done here.
This is your octopus. Is he going to be an octopus with all 8?
I don't know. I'm hoping to, because I don't like having missing arm octopuses.
Right.
Octopi, depending on which form of the word you like. Don't get all panties in a twist, please.
Both are correct.
Yes. I don't know. I'm going to put his other big front tentacle on, and then see how many more I can get on here without it looking weird. Because if it starts looking like he's got a fro of tentacles, I'll have to cut back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's coming along. I'm really hoping I can get everything done and squeezed in by the end of the month. Because I wasn't able to make as much progress on my owl as I had thought on this vacation I just went on. Partially because my room was a smoking room and I didn't really take that into account.
Right.
So all the time that I thought I could be knitting in the hotel room turned into a bust. So, yeah.
Phooey.
So, fingers crossed I can get my owl to 50% by the end of the month. Hoping.
Yeah.
And I got to get this guy and his other partner done by the end of the month, too. So we'll see.
How much more of your shawl do you need to knit to get to 50%?
I had it written down somewhere and now I can't find it. But quite a few rows. I don't even know. I could count it, but let's not waste time.
Okay.
Enough that I really have to crank on it, like, for reals, if I want to make that 50%.
Yeah.
Honestly, it may not happen. But I'm not really worried.
Yeah, but it's motivation to work on it, so.
Exactly. And it's still making progress, which is all that I really care about.
Mm-hmm. So. I hear ya.
How are you doing with your whips?
I'm good. Unfortunately, I put this over here, so I'm going to have to reach over my screen.
It's okay.
Because I have bad planning skills. So here, I finished one of the fronts. Yay!
Looks very good.
Armhole shaping? Anyone?
Hold it open so I can really see the cable pattern.
Oh, okay, I'll get up close.
Would you call that a cable or a running stitch?
What's the difference?
I think usually running stitches are just like where it makes a movement of one and it doesn't like, it moves more than it crosses. But I really don't know. I'm
okay.
Getting it.
These are all, I would describe them as 2-stitch cables.
Okay.
So there's 2 stitches and they do get reordered and knit out of order. And that's how I define a cable. I do know that when they're this small, people call them different things. and knit them different ways.
Yeah.
But I'm working them like they're cables.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have that front done, and I have this much of the other side.
Oh, let me see the ribbing where it hits the...
The bottom part?
Yeah, let me see a little higher.
Yeah, it's a 2 purl and 1 knit rib.
Okay.
The pattern actually calls for a 3 purl and 1 knit rib, but I like this one better. And so I'm doing this one.
Good. Looks good.
Thanks. I had a little bit of a snafu because, and I wanted to tell you that you were right, by the way. I should not have done this much of a gauge swatch. So my gauge is off. I finally measured the back piece gauge, and I'm getting 20 stitches to 4 inches, and the pattern is at 22 stitches per 4 inches. Oops. So I had the back piece when I was making it, the arm, the part for the arm side would have been like gigantically long. So that's where I figured out that something was amiss and measured and did a lot of things. So I ended up ripping out and taking out a couple inches, but I pinned the whole thing together and tried it on. And I laid out sweaters that I know fit me, and I laid out this pieces, and it's gonna fit. It'll be fine, but it was just oops. Otherwise you would have gotten another sweater.
At this rate, I can't really say that I'm complaining, but I feel bad for you.
I know, right? And it's funny because I'm usually all about the swatches, and I think I was feeling pressured to get it started, and that was pressure I was putting on myself to get it started that I shouldn't have done. I should have done the gauge swatches right. So there you go. But it's going to work out, and I just made a few minor adjustments to the pattern, and I'm off and running. So I think I'm going to make it for turning in 50% at the end of the month. My 50% is the back and the 2 fronts knitted and sleeves cast on.
Okay. Because
sleeves are what will take forever, and especially if I don't even have them cast on. I need to start them. If I start them, then I will have a better chance of finishing them. I'm going to try and do these sleeves 2 at a time. I have to actually see if I have the right needles to do that. Because then when I'm done knitting, I'll have both sleeves done. And that would make me really happy to not have to start another sleeve. And then, I can be sure that they're exactly the same size because I knit them at the same time. I actually can't remember if I have done this before. The last time I knit sleeves, I don't remember if I knit them 2 at a time or if I knit them 1 at a time. I don't remember. So, we'll see.
I'm trying to think
It'll be new to me one way or another since I don't remember.
Right.
Yeah. So I never started, so that's the only whip I'm working on. I am pretty monogamous right now. I never started a project for the baby shower thing. It just never happened. So I thought about it, which was kind of fun. I like planning stuff, but it never actually happened, which is just fine.
Yeah. That's the joy of babies. They don't know.
Yeah. So I don't have any other whips. Do you have any other whips?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, and I have no FOs this week, and
me neither.
You don't have any FOs this week, so we are going to be moving right along. Whoosh! To our Brainy Moments section. And I believe you have an update for us this week on last week's Brainy Moment from you.
So last week I showed you this little tool that I made. Let me get it close again.
Yay!
My little bamboo pressing tool to use in paper cutting or paper craft even. I'm sure it would probably be good in paper craft as well to get into the tight corners where you have to bend a curve. But I also found out that you can use just the eraser on the back of a pencil to hold your paper in place. because the eraser gives more than the bamboo tool does. So hopefully I won't gouge as much. I haven't tried it yet, but it seems like a really good idea. So I'm very excited.
Where did you get the idea from?
Give that a shot. I was just Googling, trying to see if hope against hope that there was some tutorials now.
Somebody out there?
Yeah. I mean, there's like a guild of paper crafters that post on Facebook. But they're not, none of it's like tutorial stuff. It's really just people's own finished objects that they're privately working on, either for fun or for sale. But I don't even think I found it through them. I was just randomly Googling, and saw somebody else using an eraser in that way. So I was like, that's a good idea, because the problem that I had with the bamboo was even like if I bevel the edge a little bit, if I'm not paying attention, I start gouging the paper, which, let's be real, I don't pay attention. So hopefully the eraser trick will work for me and keep the paper from sliding too much. So I'm excited to give that a shot. So I'm still working on that little bird paper craft, but it's not any progress that I can show you. It's like so small.
Yeah.
And I think it got cut out of the podcast because I was holding it off to the side last time. So
yeah, it did.
Yeah. It's okay. It's really fine work. So it's really hard to show. Until it's done, you won't really be able to see my progress anyway until I take the template off of it. So no sense in looking at it. But I'm excited to try that new tip that I found. What about you? Do you have anything for Brainy Moments?
Yeah, so I am looking for a pattern for my wedding shawl. I'm getting married. Well, I'm actually already married, but we're going to do the ceremony part later this year. And I want to knit a shawl for it because it's an excuse to knit a pretty lace shawl and spend lots of money on the yarn. So, yay!
I'm not arguing you out of that.
And I am really picky about what pattern I'm going to use. I like a lot of things and I like a lot of lace, but it has to be really interesting. And there's not a lot of, I'm not scared of anything. Like, there's nothing that you can say, like, this is really hard and I won't knit it or something. Like, I will tackle any project. So, what I'm sharing today in my Brainy Moments is how I was looking up the patterns.
Okay.
Ravelry's pattern search tool is really valuable if you know how to use it. It can be it's not as intuitive as I think it could be. There's a lot of, the boxes on the left, when they switch positions and stuff, I am not that big of a fan of that part. So I wanted to talk about how I found some of these patterns. So in the pattern search, you can do category and then accessories and then shawl is the first thing that I put in. And I also put in, you can specify which craft it is. And because I want to knit my shawl, I went to the category, the space for craft and then selected knitting. Mm-hmm. And then the key for me is that I wanted to do a circular shawl. And this one, if you don't know where it is, you might not be able to find it. It took me some kind of searching around to find out where I could put it. If you type in circular and hit enter into the search box, you don't get the same results as you do when you do go through the Ravelry search on the left side. So the other thing you want to do for looking up circular shawls is in attributes, there's a shape section, and then you can type, and then there's one of the shapes is circle. So you hit that, and then all of the circular shawls come up. And they have to be, the designer has to have put that circle shape into their pattern category. So some circular shawls won't be here, but most of them are. And I found a lot that I was interested in through this way. One of the other ways that I will look for a new pattern is I will actually search the projects. Mm-hmm. So when you search projects, you'll find things that where people didn't link to a pattern because either they're mashing together a whole bunch of stuff, or they made it up themselves.
Right.
one of the things that I don't like about the project search is that the project search does not have the attributes search in it. So the attributes search you can only use when you're searching patterns. So I couldn't search for circular shawls in the projects.
Right.
When you
I never noticed
for
that.
there, I had to type in circular into the search box, and only projects where people actually tagged the project that it was circular will those come up. So that's also a really good way, like a good reason to tag your projects with all kinds of things, because people are searching in the projects on Rav and they use a search word. The reason that projects come up is because people have tagged them. So if your projects aren't tagged, then nobody's going to be able to find them if they're searching and trying to get ideas. So that is my brainy moment for this week, how I was searching for circular shells.
That's really good, because I know myself when I was looking for something, I had, it was for a certain kind of hat. Like, I think I was looking for some kind of slouchy hat. I don't remember what it was now, but it was a very specific hat shape that I was looking for, and I was having so much trouble. I do think it has a little bit of room for improvement, because it's such a large, database. It has so much potential. I really think maybe if they got somebody on board who was, a master of, actual database searching, that they might be able to streamline the process a little bit better. But with a little bit of tenacity and brain work, you can usually find what you're looking for.
Right.
One thing that they put into practice recently that I liked on Ravelry was the ability to list more than one pattern now in your projects. I thought that was a great idea, because you can, if you use a certain kind of bind off from one book, you change something, you want to, add it in there, or if you're, putting different kinds of granny squares together or something, that way you can, list all of the patterns that you actually use. It's about time, I say. Because I know for myself, I often use multiple sources to make something. Even if it's just, I use the cast on from this book, I use the, yarn over advice from this lace book, or whatever. And that helps me when I want to go back and, how did I do this? Now I have the option. So I'm really grateful that they've implemented that at last. So they do some things right. That's pretty cool. I can't wait to see what patterns you come up with.
Yeah, we will have to. Unfortunately, we can't talk about it on the podcast, but we'll talk about it later. Yay! And
link to a couple of beautiful things.
Yes, I will link to a couple of things that I'm thinking about. And if anybody would like to chime in and has an idea, I am looking for patterns that are interesting in that it's not just one stitch pattern. I want a star that turns into a tulip, that turns into leaves, that turns into the Towers of Babylon. I don't know, but something.
So, interesting. Something interesting to knit and interesting to look at.
Yes. And there are a couple of patterns that I've found that would be interesting to knit, but then when you fold them, they don't look that good, draped on the shoulders. Right. See, I'm real picky. It's got to be interesting to knit and look good on my shoulders, and so I am. But this part is fun for me, looking for patterns.
That is fun. I mean, especially when you don't have any, actual constraints, you can just let your mind go and, try everything. Look at everything. So, yeah. Okay. So, next segment
is shiny. What do you have for shiny this week?
I don't even know. So I got some iron-on letters. They're, ironically, I think it looks forwards for you. Or maybe they're not. They're actually backwards, because this is the adhesive part that you're seeing. I've been wanting a very specific shirt. And And of course, it's not something that I can buy. Hold on, I'm dropping stitches here. So I figured I'd finally make one, but I haven't done anything with this kind of stuff in forever. So I got a bunch of stuff to try out. I got these iron-on letters. I'm kind of worried, though, because they tell you to, like, use the iron for forever. And I'm like, I don't know if I can even press cotton for that long. It seems like I'm going to be frying it. So I'm going to do that on a cheap shirt and try that out and let y'all know how it works. Also, there's, like, a plastic backing. These are, like, flocked letters. And there's a plastic backing on them, and I'm not quite sure if I'm supposed to be ironing over that plastic backing. Yeah, that's kind of worrying, especially at such a high heat. I'm going to be melting plastic all over my iron. Good. Well, well, all over your press cloth. I'll have to make sure oh, hey, sweetie. I used a press cloth that I don't care about. But that's going to be an adventure. So I got that to try, and then I also got some fabric paint, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be like puffy paint, but I have no idea, which is why I bought it, because I don't like puffy paint. This isn't the 80s anymore, and I'm not, like, in the third grade.
Puffy paint was awesome.
In the 80s, in the third grade, okay? So, anyway, this is supposed to be fabric paint, and doesn't say it's 3D. It says it's velveteen. So it might be slightly textured. I don't know. It's going to be another experiment. So I'm going to have to buy some like cheap dollar shirts or something and go to town and give everything a shot. And then I'll let you know how it all works. What I really want to do is screen print. But I don't have access to all of that equipment. So yeah. So these are all my second best attempts at that. Either that, and if none of these work, I might give a call to one of my artist friends who does do screen printing and be like, this is what I want. Can you just make it happen? All right. So.
Thanks.
But that's it for my shiny. What about you?
I don't have any shiny this week, but I will next week. I hope it'll come next week. So this is going to go right into hyperventilate because I am so excited. I found, okay, I don't even know if I want to tell you about this because it's really dangerous. It's danger zone dangerous. I knew that these places existed on Ravelry, but I never really explored them. They're the D-Stash and In Search Of groups. I have joined several groups now. I've joined the book this one I was already a part of, the book D-Stash and In Search Of library. I also joined the In Search Of and D-Stash of yarn, and the Spinners Marketplace, which is a D-Stash and In Search Of for spinning equipment and fiber. Mm-hmm. And then I also joined the Wollmeisen Anonymous group, and Wollmeisen is a kind of sock yarn, is a kind of yarn that is made in Germany.
And very nice.
Indie Dyer, I don't know if she's independent anymore. I don't really know much about it, actually. I just know that people really, really, really like the yarn and the colors and that kind of thing. And so I was just searching. I was just looking at it, and then I found somebody's D-Stash with this beautiful yarn. And she had really nice yarns. Stuff that I've heard about and I've never had a chance to buy. And so I bought some yarn. Yay. And it'll be coming, and I will show you all when it is here. So the other thing that I think is pretty cool is the In Search Of. And I had to kind of learn the lingo. ISO means In Search Of, and FS means for sale. So people post In Search Of when they're looking for something, and people post FS when they have something to sell.
Okay.
And you do have to be careful because, it's the internet. You're still on Ravelry is still the internet.
Yeah.
And the way that you can kind of be a little bit more careful is they have feedback threads. So, for example, the person that I was considering buying from, I searched in the feedback thread for her name, and it came up and she had positive reviews. So, people said she had fast shipping, good communication, so I knew she was legit and actually had the things. Right. And the other thing that I think you can kind of tell, too, is like all of her yarn was photographed on the same rock. Like, so she took all her yarn outside and photographed it all. She had a photographing day on this rock, so it's not like she pulled it off the internet.
Right.
So, it's just like little clues like that can kind of tell you if the person is actually there or not.
Right.
So, I'm so excited. I haven't gotten new yarn in a month.
I guess it has been a month, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really hasn't been that long since I got more yarn.
Yeah, so but you've been using up that yarn, so I don't feel so bad about you getting more yarn.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad I have permission. I thought you were going to give me a talking to, so that's good.
No. No, look at how much work you've already got done. You're eating through that yarn.
Yes.
A-okay.
So I got
I'm not one to talk about.
I got 2 skeins of sock yarn and enough yarn for a sweater. So, I'm so excited. Ooh, she's, in case you're listening, she just showed her knitting. Pretty pretty.
Yeah. Making a knitting mustache here. My favorite thing to do. Excuse me.
So that's all of the shiny. Oh, that was my first hyperventilate. I have another hyperventilate, but I will let you go. So what are you hyperventilating about this week?
So I got a new product to try, and I totally went out on a limb and didn't even look it up before I bought it. This is Onyx Professional Nail Dryer with Island Coconut Scent. So it's made with a bunch of really flammable things like butane and propane and alcohol. Yeah, I was kind of a little worried about that, but they put that in a lot of things, so I let it go. What it's supposed to do is dry your nails real quick. And I was like, well, one of the biggest problems with some of these polishes I have is that they just stay tacky forever, so they don't dry right, and then it's a mess. So I figured maybe this would be a way to give some of my less favorite polishes a second chance. So I tried it out, and it worked really well. My nails were still a little bit tacky afterward, but they dried really fast.
Oh, neat. I'm glad it worked. Yeah.
I know, it's like magic. I wish I had tried this years ago. So far, it's got an A+ from me. And then I smell like delicious coconuts.
Ooh, that's even better.
And butane and propane. But,
well, I guess they had to cover up the butane smell.
Yeah, well, all that stuff evaporates really quick. So it's not really a problem. It doesn't really stay on you very long. In fact, probably most of it doesn't even get on you. It's probably mostly just propellant, to be frank. But I don't know enough about that to really posit a guess. But I'm really excited about that. So I went through my whole nail polish stash, trying to find a couple of them that I knew didn't dry well, So I'm going to be giving those guys a second chance. So I'm really excited about that. Because I tried it on a color that I was pretty sure would dry fast anyway. So now I get to try it on somebody that's a little bit more cantankerous. But that's it for my hyperventilate. Oh wait, that's not true. I have a slightly geeky thing to show off. But this is also kind of a random remnant, really. So I was at the store and I was like, this is a really pretty color swatch. This is Caperberry by Martha Stewart Living. And then I realized that her, the suggested colors to go with the other things. Let me show it on the bottom here. She made a Slytherin swatch.
Yeah.
Martha Stewart, you're so funny. So I really geeked out about that. And I kept it.
That's a paint swatch, right?
Yeah, that's a paint swatch for your wall. And And the color is not exactly silver, but it's close enough that I'm like, I just really started laughing really hard, so I wanted to share that.
That's awesome.
The thought of Martha Stewart being a Slytherin just really I'm still laughing. Like, I can't stop laughing. Anyway. Moving on.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, that's what I said. So, what do we have now? Books. You first.
I don't have a book this week.
You had one other hyperventilate, didn't you?
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you for reminding me. Back to hyperventilate.
Shoo!
So I watch TV shows through Netflix, and I just got through watching all 8 seasons of Bones. I love Bones! And she's like
out of
my
context,
hero.
That's a funny statement.
I know, right? So I really like that show, and I reached the end of what's on Netflix, and that means I have to find another show. And I am watching Star Trek Deep Space Nine here and there, but I can only take so much of the dorkiness of that series. Yeah. So, like, I can't just binge watch it like I usually watch TV shows. I don't know what it is. I can't binge watch it.
It's like good, but it's bad.
Yeah, like Cisco, he has like no emotion.
Yeah.
Like, he's supposed to be a human character, but he doesn't act like a human.
Right.
I don't know what it is. Like, I dare you to watch the first episode of Deep Space Nine and tell me that he did a good job acting. Because I don't know how that pilot went anywhere. Because his acting is so awful in that pilot. Anyway. So I can't watch too much of that. So I needed to find a new show. And so I'm searching around and looking, and I find that Murder, She Wrote from the 80s, it's on there, all 284 episodes. Yeah! So I started watching Murder, She Wrote, and I like when women characters are not supposed to be sexy, and they're just smart. And,
Can I get a woot woot?
Yeah. So, I have been enjoying, I don't know how many episodes I'm going to be able to get through, it depends on a lot of things, but, I've watched 3 or 4 so far, so I have been excited about that.
Cool.
Yes.
Let me know how you like it. It's one of those series again, kind of like Rosemary and Thyme, so I might watch it. I think I watched a little bit of it as a kid and I liked it, but I don't remember enough about it to know if I would like it. So let me know how you like it. I am assuming you will, because it's kind of something up our alley.
Yeah, I like murder mysteries and I like those crime TV shows as long as it's not trying to scare me. And as long as you're not showing me people dying. Like, if you're not showing me people murdering I'm not into watching people murder other people. I'm not into that. And I'm also not into shows that don't have a conclusion. Like, I like that you start a problem, and at the end of the show, you end the problem. Like, I could not get into Battlestar Galactica, because that show never resolved anything. Like, it was just like, here's a problem, and 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 a problem. Are you happy? Because I'm not. I was like, what is this? This is not a story. Like, a story needs an arc, and when I watch TV shows, I want the whole arc. I don't want to be waiting for years and years and years for the arc to resolve.
And to be frank, okay, so this is going to be a small spoiler alert. So if you don't want a spoiler for that, then
for Battlestar?
So
if you're watching Battlestar, just skip ahead.
Yeah. We'll give you a timestamp. But, so I never actually watched that show until the very end, when my friends were all having a party to watch the last bits of it. So, we watched one of those things, on YouTube where it's like a compilation of it, to get us up to speed for the people like me who hadn't watched it before. So then I watched the last bits and I was like, I'm really glad that I didn't watch this show, because that stinks. That was not anything that I if I had watched the whole TV show and that was the ending, I would have felt really gypped. Not a fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's
well,
hardly
I guess
a spoiler.
that wasn't that much spoilage. So,
okay.
Good job.
I try to keep it not too spoily, but let's just say I was not fond of the ending and call it a day.
I couldn't get into it. I mean, I watched 3 or 4 episodes and I was like, this is just not for me. But my partner had already gotten hooked. So she watched like the whole thing and at the end she was just like, I wasted my life.
I know. It's so true.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The only good part was the cameo of Xena.
Yeah. That's always good.
Cameo. She does play a pretty major part, but
right.
Lucy Lawless. Known in the real world as Lucy Lawless, but known to me as Xena.
I know, it's true. Anytime her or Gabrielle are on, I'm like, yeah, look, it's Xena. And everybody's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, she's not really called Xena, is she? She's like a legitimate actress. I just don't think of her that way. She's always Xena to me, because that's the first thing I saw her in.
Well, and she was Xena for so long.
Yeah. Yeah. And I honestly probably only watched 2 seasons of that before I stopped watching it. Mm-hmm. Because it got so campy at some parts that I was just like, oh, this isn't what I was wanting. I mean, as an adult now, I'm like, yay, this is so funny and campy, you know? Mm-hmm. So I could watch that kind of stuff and not be, like, thrown off. But at the time, I was really wanting something a little more serious, I think. Because it's so hard to find, like, strong female warrior, like, you know, role models. Even now, you know, sure, we have some. You can, you know, I swear if you bring up Joss Whedon, I'm going to vomit a little, but, his characters, don't get me started. Because I don't think I could be nice. Anyway, needless to say, we always have room for more strong female characters. There's always more room. So, anyway, so moving on. What are we at now? I'm totally off topic, randoming everywhere.
No, well, I'm going to keep going randomly because I have one more thing to add to that before we keep going.
Sounds good.
And I don't know if it's still updating, but I remember there was this blog. I think you might have pointed it out to me. I can't remember where I found it from. Oh. But it was like women in practical armor. Something like that, you know? And it's just like all pictures gleaned off of the internet of women dressed in practical battle clothing. One of my favorites. So hopefully it's still up and we can link to it. Okay, on to next segment, which is...
I have one small problem with that, and that is that a lot of I would say maybe 50% of the people in that blog or forum, I can't remember what it is now, some of them still have long hair. And let's be real, if you have long hair, you're not going into battle with it in your face. Look at me. I even keep my hair out of the way just to knit, okay? Like, I'm not going into battle with long hair in my face.
Okay. Next segment.
What are we on now? I have no
books.
idea.
We're on books.
Oh, okay. You first.
We tried to go to books, but then I had more for the other section, so we had to go back. Now we're on books for realsies.
We're really, like, all over the place today. You're just going to have to bear with us, guys. Books.
I have not been reading, because I've been knitting. What have you been reading?
I've got it here. This is How to Wrap 5 More Eggs, Traditional Japanese Packaging. This is a sequel to another book called How to Wrap 5 Eggs. Well, I should hope that would be kind of somewhat obvious by the title.
And who is this by?
Hideyuki Oka, author of How to Wrap 5 Eggs. Let me set my knitting down so I can actually show you some of the stuff inside of it. I found this at Book Off, of course. Where else could I find it?
Of course.
Book Off. Because I have a good Book Off near me that actually carries Japanese books. My metalsmithing teacher had the first book of this, and it was really awesome. It's very sort of inspirational ideas on just different ways of wrapping, like everything from food to newspapers, because there's a lot of really creative ideas out there. Like, let's see, this one is some what do you call it? Greeting cards, like note cards on top of a box. I don't know if you'll be able to see that one, because all the pictures are black and white. But, just really inspirational knotwork. Here's some, baskets. So these are, like, decoratively woven baskets.
Oh, wait, put it in the middle. Pick one and put it in the middle.
Beep. Is that in the middle?
There we go, yeah.
Okay. So some of them are sort of like based on traditional knotwork, like how you wrap up your used newspapers for recycling and stuff like that. Other stuff is like, well, as you can tell from the title, wrapping eggs. This one actually has like whole eggs wrapped in like raffia to keep them from breaking. It's like literally 5 eggs wrapped together so that you could carry it from the top without breaking the eggs and having them fall everywhere. Brilliant stuff. And just very inspirational for the artist. It really gets your mind going. So I thought I would recommend that. It also has at the end, it's not just pictures, because this one is very picture heavy in the front, but then there's a number with each piece, and then at the back it gives information about how it was wrapped and what the purpose was, and sort of the mindset that goes into it, some of them. So, really good. Since it is an old, used book, let me see if I can find the copyright date here. Sorry for all the crinklingness. This is 1975. So you would have to order this online if you wanted to find it yourself. But really good. If you happen to come across it in a used bookstore, grab it. Or if you come across the first one. I wish I could find the first one. I'd have to order it online, I think. I haven't found that yet. I was really excited
to search of thread.
Yeah, right? I don't need more books. No more books. No more books. Oh, God, the books everywhere. Okay,
I know, but you keep going to book off. Love you, book off.
I have a problem. Oh, book off.
All right.
You're my favorite place. So that's what I'm recommending. That's it for books, though. So
our next segment is I Spy.
Mm.
I have been out in the wilds of a little bird refuge, which is surrounded by a freeway and a road near where I live. And informational placards, I learned something. And this particular body of water is very close to the ocean, but it does not actually connect to the ocean, so it is a freshwater little pond. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a lake. It's so small, I would almost call it a pond. Like, it's big enough that I wouldn't want to swim in it, but...
Snapping turtles.
Yeah. And so I saw various things while I was out there. Saw a couple of egrets, but mostly what I saw were coots. And I wanted to ask you, are they called American coots?
Yes.
Yes.
There's also a Eurasian coot. It's in my books, my bird books. But I have very specifically looked for it and have never found it. And I don't know if it's just because my books are missing some kind of, it's just basically the biggest difference is like a little extra bit on top of their beak. And I've never seen one. So I don't really know if we have them or not. You know, it's one of those things where maybe we occasionally get one on accident, but I have never seen one.
Okay. So I saw a lot of American coots. And this particular little bird refuge, the lake has some parts that are pretty shallow, mm-hmm. but are still like muddy and kind of watery. So they were so happy, like trotting around and digging up the mud and mud.
Yeah, right.
Oh, and I forgot to talk about the informational placard I saw. So I was getting there. What I learned from this informational placard was that these kinds of freshwater ponds or lakes mm-hmm. Eventually turn into meadows because the plants on the edges just kind of keep encroaching into the water until there's no more water left, and you have a meadow. But the informational placard did not tell me how long this would take, and I'm going to guess a long time. And I would also guess that because this particular pond is managed by people, I don't know if that would be allowed to actually happen or not. So, yeah, it was interesting. It was the first time I'd been there, and I was a little bit kind of like meh about it at first, but I had a good time, so I might go back.
Good.
Yeah. Where have you been lately? Seen anybody?
I did. I actually went to Arizona for a little mini vacation. So I saw some grackles. I think they were long-tailed grackles, but I didn't have my book with me, so I couldn't double check.
And but what do they look like?
They kind of look like brewer's blackbirds, but a little bit larger. I don't know if you know what a brewer's blackbird looks like. Okay, well, don't worry about it then. I can always link to one. But they made all sorts of cute noises. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think it was them when I heard them. I was like, that sounds like a magpie or something. But they were just grackles going crazy. So, and then I also saw quail. They're so cute with their little top knot running around. They're like the dorkiest bird. I don't know how you
I can't remember where I was camping. I think I was camping in Joshua Tree.
Uh-huh.
If they have quails in Joshua Tree, then that's where I saw it. And if they don't, that's not where I saw it. But I agree. Very cute.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's just the way they run or if it's the little dingly top knot as they're running.
The dingly top knot.
I think so. They're just so hilarious.
And I think we have our episode title.
I know, right? Yeah, they're pretty dorky. But those are pretty much the only new things that I've seen. I'm trying to think if I've seen anything else locally. I saw a bunch of sparrows when I was there, too. They're always cute. They're just like a little tiny mouthful. But, and I know they're such a plain bird, but they're still one of my favorites. Actually, let's be real. I think every bird ever is like a favorite. I don't think I really have a favorite. I love birds. So,
and that's why we have this section.
Yeah, exactly. So, at a rest stop, there was a bunch of them eating like a dry biscuit. I felt kind of bad. They were trying so hard to get pieces of it off, but no luck.
Okay, so next segment is Ear Party.
Yay.
And at my opera class, we had our last meeting, and there's a quiz at the end, and I had no idea what was going on at all, because there were just these cryptic statements, and they weren't questions, and I was like, are these word puzzles in my mind? And they were. So I got 0 right, and because I got 0 right, I got a prize.
What?
So she gave out prizes to people who got none right, and I thought it was really cute because it's like a way of like getting you to not feel bad that you had no idea what was going on.
Right.
And so I got this. It's the best of the. Ooh, that's really glary. There we go.
That's okay. Well, there it is.
Best of Italian opera.
Ooh.
And it's like a sampler of Italian opera arias.
That's really cool.
So my plan is to listen to this and see if I can find out any new operas that I'm more interested in listening to or singers that I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. So I will be listening to that. I haven't actually cracked it open yet, but that's on my docket. What are you listening to?
I've been listening to a bunch of stuff. I went back and I don't even know how I got onto this train of internet clickage, but I went back and listened to a bunch of old stuff, including Missy Elliott, which you know I love. And I finally found out why she's not making more music. I guess she has, she's been sick, basically. So, I'll link to one of her songs that I like. And then, what was I watching first? I was watching Cascade's Raining is the name of the song. But it's a Phil Collins remix. I like the Phil Collins remixes. This is a sort of like an electronica song, so if you don't like electronica, don't check it out. And then that got me started thinking about something else. I don't even know. It was one of those things where it's like, your brain goes from one to the other, You're like, oh, that reminds me of a small bit in a music video from this thing. And then you go find it. Oh, this beat reminds me of that. So I've been listening to a billion new and old things. And I also found one of the new things I found. I'm still not even sure how I came across this one. But this is Suzanne Vega. She's kind of like I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's got sort of loungy songs.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, I'll link to one of hers called Caramel. She has other good songs too, but so I'll link to her. And then I was watching again with the old videos, and these are ones I was thinking about it because of Fever Ray, because her videos are very sort of surreal, and they kind of feel like an art student's final project, like where they're always posting their final project for their video class. That's kind of how like her videos feel to me. So then that made me start thinking about other videos that have sort of either surreal, surreal scenery or something like that going on. So I watched 9 Inch Nails' We're in This Together Now, which is just like kind of almost like a post-apocalyptic feel. So I'll post a link to that one too. Which also then, I don't know how my brain works, or, at least I don't remember now what made me think about it. But then I came across Interpol's Come Here song, because I think it was probably because of Fever Ray, one of the Fever Ray things that I was looking at now.
Anyway, like how you try and figure it out.
I know, right? But I have no idea. But there's this lady with these sort of little flamey streamers coming off of her. They look almost like really long fur, but they're meant to be sort of like flames. Anyway, the effect is really cool. She looks like she has this really crazy flaming fur jacket going on.
Awesome.
And she's like running through the woods and stuff with some other kids going on. Anyway, so I'll link to that one too. Those ones are more for the video than anything. Just because I was in a weird video kick, I guess, was what it boils down to. That and listening to all sorts of old music that I haven't heard in like a decade or more. God, I'm old. Oh well. So that's all I've been listening to, which is a whole lot. And there's I'm sure plenty more. I've been crazy on the YouTubes lately. But let's not make this into a 2-hour ear party segment.
No, that's good for now.
So next, walks in the urban wilderness. What do you got? Oh, you look like you look like you have sad news, not good news.
I do have sad news. I only walked once when I went out to the bird place.
Okay.
I just kind of forgot.
That's okay.
And I sat around and knitted instead. And I started working again, and I got really tired.
Right.
So. Hey, wait, no. I did walk twice, because I walked to my opera class. Hey. I don't feel so bad now.
Yeah, you were secretly awesome, and you just didn't even know.
Yeah, but I'm not sick anymore, so I need to up my goals and stuff. So I gotta look at what my goals are gonna be.
Yeah, but I also know you tend to overextend yourself. So don't, go crazy. You're still in recovery mode.
But I want to walk everywhere. Okay, yeah, you're right. So what about you? How are you doing with your goals?
I didn't do good. I only did 4 again this week. But that's mostly
your minimum goal. And I remembered when I watched through the video, I was going to be mad at you, but I forgot on the podcast. Because 4 is still meeting your goal.
That's true.
So
I met my goal.
You met your goal.
I know, but I just keep wanting to do more and then not doing it. But to be fair, I was on vacation and we were mostly driving around. So that's why I didn't get much done. And we still have technically one more day since we're recording a little early this week. So hopefully I'll get another one in and I'll post it if I do.
There you go.
Fingers crossed. So I met my minimum goal. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, you're right. I should not be so hard.
Yes. Random remnants. Anything left over?
Let me see. I don't think so. Oh, yes. No, that's not true. I have one. A new color. So, I have Revlon's Color Stay, one of their green ones that I like. It's called Bonsai. I haven't actually reviewed this one yet. So I've been dying to try another one of the color stays, because that one worked really well, even though it had glitter in it. Most of the ones with glitter don't last very long, for whatever reason. So I figured I'd give another one of the color stay ones a shot, and see if the whole color stay line was worth putting a little extra money into. So I tried this one. This is Bold Sangria. It's a really dark purple, but it has sort of like pink undertones. There's no way you're going to be able to see it.
But I still want you to try.
Yeah, I know.
It matches your glasses.
So yellow, huh?
It matches your glasses.
Yeah, it actually does. It's like a shade darker than my glasses. I have a couple of coats on, so it's pretty dark. But if you only put one on, it really is like wine colored. So, really nice. I'll see if I can get a good photo of it. And it's holding up pretty well. That was the one that I tried with this nail dryer product. Because I was pretty sure that the color stay would dry fast on its own. So I wasn't too worried about that. Oh, I'm thirsty. Anyway, so that's it, I think, for my random remnants.
Oh, I do have a random remnant. I always do this. I got new glasses.
Yay!
Yay! And I actually did get these a while ago, but they pinched my head, so I got a headache, and I finally got them adjusted, so now they don't pinch my head.
Good.
And now I can wear them.
I don't know, there's something about art frames. These ones are also, you know, the fancy art frames, and they also pinched my head, and it took forever to get the ears adjusted. I don't know why. It's like anything that looks good, and it's going to take you forever to get it adjusted. I kind of get mad at glasses makers. I'm going to be real about that. If only I could make my own.
If only you'd taken that class.
I know. I was talking to Rambunctious Sky about that. I had an opportunity when I was in metalsmithing class to take sort of like an after class tutorial on how to make your own glasses. And I had something else I was doing. I don't even remember what it was now, but I will forever regret not taking that. I know, it was really silly of me. Cute. Well, that's it.
That's it for our podcast. Oh, what?
Sorry.
We shouldn't talk at the same time.
We're really bad at that. So that's it for this week, folks. Thanks for joining us. And our show notes can be found at
sistersoftheholyfiber.wordpress.com. We link to everything and have pictures there as well. Please come and say hi and leave a comment on our blog, or come and join our Ravelry group. We post our episodes, so if you have a comment about something in the episode, feel free to leave that in our episode thread. And we also have an ear party thread, so come and share what you're listening to, and we can all find new things to listen to while we craft.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Bye. Outtakes.
You first.
You go.
Okay. And that's how we spend another half hour going back and forth saying, no, you. No, you. Right? And then deadly silence. Hello and welcome.
We are
partially crazy. Sisters of the Holy Fiber.